If you want to be featured in an ad for Michael Bloomberg's 2020 presidential campaign, apparently it's pretty easy. All you have to do is tweet out something mean about Michael Bloomberg. Yesterday, Michael Bloomberg's campaign released a 1-minute ad that just featured angry Twitter users, pretty much all followers of Bernie Sanders, tweeting out mean things about Michael Bloomberg and other Democrats running for president. But of course, none of the mean things that folks on social media have said about Bernie Sanders. Because Bloomberg's newest line of attack, going after the Democratic frontrunner, which is Bernie Sanders, is to point out how mean and vicious his followers can be on Twitter, right? The Bernie Bros. Michael Bloomberg is tapping that old well that establishment Democrats have been drinking from since 2016. The Bernie Bros, the mean people online, and Bloomberg is going to spend millions of dollars trying to publicly shame these people and somehow tie it into Bernie Sanders. His campaign also released a list of tweets from people who work for Bernie Sanders' campaign. Now, these tweets were not vicious and they were not filled with lies or profanities. These tweets were actually just facts about how horrible Michael Bloomberg is, and Bloomberg thought it would be a good idea to use those in a little campaign mailer, showing how horrible he is. Here's the thing. I have said this repeatedly. Are there horrible people online that support Bernie Sanders? Yes. Just like there's plenty of horrible people who support Michael Bloomberg, and horrible people who support Elizabeth Warren and Pete Buttigieg and Joe Biden and all of the other also-rans. They're everywhere. All you have to do is look. If you want to focus explicitly on the people who support Bernie Sanders, that's pretty easy to find. You can find plenty of hate and vitriol in Buttigieg supporters too, and Biden supporters. There is just as much hate against Bernie Sanders on social media as there is coming from people who support him. It just depends on which one you choose to look at, and Bloomberg and all of the other establishment Democrats only want to look at the horrible things Bernie supporters are saying and not all the horrible things that the supporters of other candidates are saying. This is not unique to Bernie Sanders, but what is unique about Bernie Sanders is that he is the only one who's come out and said, I want my supporters to knock it off. I want you to stop it. And in spite of the fact that corporate media, including MSNBC, repeatedly say Bernie needs to denounce this, he has. You're just not acknowledging that he has done this. Also, what you're not acknowledging is the fact that Michael Bloomberg has already spent $350 million of his own dollars to buy himself into the White House. He already bought himself onto the debate stage tomorrow night in Las Vegas, didn't qualify, but once again, the DNC changes the rules to allow him on stage. And it's going to be a bloodbath. Michael Bloomberg has not faced any criticism from his fellow candidates since all of this damaging info about him was released, honestly, just a week ago. And they're going to tear into him, and the public is finally going to see what the real Michael Bloomberg is all about. Not the smiling face that accomplished oh so much that we see in all of those ads running all over the country, costing him millions of dollars. Not that Michael Bloomberg. We're finally going to see the real Michael Bloomberg. And here's another tip, and this goes for anybody running for president. If your only line of attack against a candidate is to spend a couple $1 million to run an ad attacking randos on Twitter for being mean to you, then you've already lost. If there were legitimate reasons to attack Bernie Sanders, these people would be running ads on that. These people would be calling that out on MSNBC. And the other candidates would be talking about that on Twitter. But no, they're all just talking about those mean old people who Bernie Sanders has never met and is not affiliated with, and how mean they are. And if you can't handle a little bit of criticism from random anonymous people on Twitter, then what the hell are you going to do when you face off with Donald Trump on that debate stage and he insults you personally for 2.5 hours? I know what a lot of you out there are thinking. You're thinking, wouldn't it be amazing if you could wear the Ring of Fire logo across your chest? Well, now you can. Just head on over to our Teespring page to find some awesome merch we're offering for our viewers. We have more designs that are going to be added in the near future, so just follow the link in the description or take a peek at the shelf of merchandise under this video. Thanks for watching.